I'm going to record on Zoom, and I'll post this one for you guys to have on YouTube. And what I'm doing, because Tupperware has such strict rules, is just giving the information to those of you guys that are taking class. So I printed this just so that you can see what Louise and I are using, and then Pam uses for ACEs. When she's scheduling that, we have a spreadsheet and all of that, and so we lock that in position. And so then I'll get that also to our California leaders and Texas leaders, so they have something, because Tupperware does have different rules. So I'm going to roll through this pretty quick because we have our next class in an hour, and this has to have time to download, so I want to make sure that you guys have that as well. So welcome to class. Yay! Thanks for being here. Do you like my matching shoes? Super cute, right? Super fun. Very cute. I just had to throw that out there. Y'all can't see them. They're super fun. Right, Nadine? Super cute. Okay, so Sherry, if you'll take roll call for me here today, just write down who's here, okay. And then I'll tell you who's online with us as well. We have Michelle Huckabee, and yay, from Texas. We have Nadine from Oregon, yay. Natasha from Texas. Chrissy, remind me where you live now. Oklahoma?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, talking to you.
Casey.
Casey, Oklahoma.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Everybody's everywhere. Okay, so for display, make sure you guys are taking good notes. Pam and I are very specific about our booths, and I could probably speak for both of us that we do our booths almost identical, I would say. Pretty darn close. Just in our setup, because that's how we were taught from the beginning. So you need to have an easy up, a professional, nice easy up, something that doesn't have holes in it. If you have a choice, choose white over any other color, because at some point, if you choose to logo it, it obviously is going to stand out. You don't want to logo something that's colorful. We did a pink easy up years ago because that was Tupperware's color, and now it's changed. So I say stick with the white. You also have to have weights, because I think where we all live, except maybe the exception of Oregon, there's some heavy winds, especially where Casey is. And so you have to have weights. Our policies here in Nevada, all of our events require weights. So they have to be something, like I used to use the cinder blocks, and so as long as they stay out of the way so they don't stub people's toes as they're walking in your booth, then that's okay. Throw any suggestions in here, Pam.
Well, in case you don't have cinder blocks or they're too heavy for you, I got, and Chris had gotten it one years and years ago, PCV piping, the little caps, and I just filled it with dirt. Yeah. And they're tall, and so I got the ones that are like this big, and I just got the little bungee things and wrap around them. I've never had a problem. So that's another option for you if you don't want, you know.
Right. And there's different options. Milk jugs are good. I know Pam has specialty ones she got. Margaret has actual weights she bought online. Yeah. So something that will weigh it down no matter what, because if your canopy picks up and goes and takes out somebody's car, which our Jen had happen last year in Texas, then you're responsible for whatever happens to that person's car. Right, so I have that on here too. Absolutely. So it very seldom happens, but you have to do that. So also you have to stay within the space provided. And I know I'm going to be really detailed, you guys, today, and less fluffy, because you need to know the rules. It's just the way it is. So you need to stay within your space provided, because there is always somebody next to you who's going to complain if you're in their space. It's like sitting next to your brother or sister in the car, and they're like, they're leaning on me. It's the same thing with vendor events. They don't want you leaning on them, right? If it's an overnight event, it has to have zip and secure sides. So you have to be able to get in and out of that. That doesn't happen too often for you guys, because Pam and I are helping run all of that. But if that ever be the case, I know there's only a couple of us that have those. You need to, inside of your booth, have 3 covered tables, preferably Tupperware tablecloths. So any opportunity that you can ever earn logo items, earn them, because they just make you look that much more professional. If you don't, I would just recommend our black plastic tablecloths that you can get at the dollar store, because everything pops on black. I don't do busy tablecloths. It looks way too busy with our product. And I often don't really do colored tablecloths unless it is logoed or it matches the current product, because again, then it kind of just clashes, and we're not the Army. So.
And one thing, I always make sure that the black plastic ones, even if I use others, I tape them down so that they're on the ground, because people don't need to see all your crap underneath those tables.
I have that part on here too.
Oh, so sorry.
Okay. So 3 covered tablecloths. So when you're walking into your booth, if you can imagine, it's going to be in where it looks like a square horseshoe. So I would recommend that it is left horseshoe side, if you will, is your kit is front and center, because your focus of a booth is dating and recruiting, period. So your kit should be on display, and you can pick whether it be your kit highlighted. Maybe I always put it up on the box like we have in the office, and that's kind of piggied in the corner alongside my host gift special, the host gift special of the catalog, because that relates also to Confident Start. And then I have the Say Yes and Activation. That is your first 6-foot table, because you want to focus on dating and recruiting from the second they see your booth. And often people, I read a statistic somewhere that they view left-sided first, and so that kind of starts, their spread. They do the clockwise look, if you will, when they walk in your booth. Your back table should be nicely represented with current colored catalog and brochure items, never something that's a wrong color, because it will inevitably happen every single time you bring a purple chip and dip bowl and it's coral right now or something. I don't even remember what color it is right now. And so marketing, we just got marketing for October today. It's very exciting. And so make sure that it's always current colors, displayed nicely, it's clean. I have a little bit further down here, but I'll say it now. Bring a microfiber towel with you that you use for dusting, because where we all are with the wind, or Nadine in Oregon with the rain, something might get wet, it gets dusty. You want to be able to clean it and make it look nice and presentable at all times. Never something that you just washed out of your kitchen and I need to show this kind of a thing. And then your last table, if you need it, because your last table should be overflow of product display or cash and carry if you choose to bring it. However, cash and carry is strictly for bonus, if you will. It's icing on the cake. It is not what your booth is about. We don't do booths to unload our product. If you have too much product in your garage, you need to find an alternative, not a booth to sell it at. That's just icing on the cake, because, I apologize if you have product. Do something with it to build your business, right? We also cannot have buckets of discounted product. So I'll go into that also in a little bit. And then the table should not be tilted forward in, if you will, where it looks like a V or diagonal or whatever, just a simple square. And I say that because, and that's suggested, not necessarily have to be, but I'm highly, highly suggesting it, because it needs to be welcoming. And when you start diagonaling your tables, it kind of puts off that you only want them to come so far. And so you need it to be open and welcoming, that people can come in. People tend to stand in our booths on really hot days. So if they're at a diagonal, they won't. And if they're standing in our booth because it's raining, windy, or really hot, they're looking at your booth, right? Well, if you close it in, that's saying, I don't want too many people in here. So remember what your booth and who you are represents and what that says to other people. Your signage, according to Tupperware's rules, must be earned signage or Vistaprint only. Where I would say you could differ a little bit in that is if you maybe get a help wanted sign. You can't print now hiring. That's against policy, so that everybody knows that. But you can put help wanted signs in there. Because of the verbiage, it's slightly different, and then I guess apparently that's okay. The other thing that you want to look at doing is no handwritten signs. So if you have maybe stickers on your cash and carry, it's okay to have, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the garage sale little rounded stickers. You can put, like, I don't know, I always round everything up to include our shipping and tax, because we have to include everything now. So you might just round it off is what I simply do, so you're not looking for prices. Because if you get a booth where people are flooding it and they're like, how much is this, how much is this, and you can't answer those questions quickly, they're going to leave. So if you do have stickers, make it simple again, make it very clean. I need a saying for that. I was going to say, what would Jesus do? But that doesn't matter in the booth right now. It does when your personality's in it, right, Debbie?
Is that Vistaprint or what?
Vistaprint or earned signs. So sometimes you can earn things, so you earn them.
Signs.
Okay. Where you could, again, change that a little bit is maybe it's the printed say yes, and you're going to put it in you can put it in the clear plastic easels. So pick up some of these at Office Depot, Office Max. And you can also laminate them if you choose to, and maybe tape it on one of the legs of your canopy. You can also put them in the clear sheets that you might get, the plastic protectors that you might change them out. So whenever a new say yes, or there's a new Saturday morning offer and you're doing a booth Saturday morning, you got to hurry and print. Remember, if you're printing stuff, it needs to be in color. We don't do black and white at our booth. So just be professional and be prepared.
So these will be more eye-popping.
Yeah, it just depends, because sometimes during big months we have so much stuff, so you're trying to figure out where do I put everything without it falling, and these ones can blow over in the wind where other stuff may not. So you might want to get, I want to say hacky sacks, but little weights that can weigh your bowls down when we have towers of bowls and things like that. Get something that's a weight-fill sock full of rocks or things like that.
Marbles.
Yeah, or marbles. That's super good.
And
Rice.
we got those little bags of the like fish-looking marble things at Dollar Tree.
Yeah. So, and you can do little props as long as they're tasteful, and things that help you. Like if you're gonna do fruit in the Veggie Keepers. What is I can't think today in our Fridge Smart. Thank you. You can do props, but you know, I wouldn't bring real produce. Especially at farmers markets, you can't, but I would bring nice looking, you know, go to Michael's and pick up something, or Hobby Lobby or something like that. Let's see, elevate your product for visual taste and enticement is what I put. So that might be taking that kit box and wrap it and turn it upside down after you've taken everything out of it, put a black tablecloth over it so that it's hiding the box, if you will, because our box say Tupperware, but it's still not super appealing. You know, at some point your boxes start to look trashy when there's too many boxes. So to elevate it, you might stick things on top of it and around it like we have on our display, and that might be helpful. I carry cookware to every event because I want people to see our cookware. Not everybody's a microwave cooker. So this way you can elevate it and post it that way, or set it up that way, and it just looks nicer. You want to have a big focus on the display. If I was walking into that booth, and I always say, again, pick your favorite store. If your favorite store, you walk in and it's looking trashy and there's stuff all over it. Well, for example, okay, we walk into Ross or we walk into Macy's, okay? When you go into Ross, everybody has been there. There's stuff all over the floor. You're digging through it, and you're like, I'm over it, unless you have patience to continue to deal with it, right? When you go into Macy's, do you find it where it is trashy very often? Almost never, because there's people who are required to pick that up, and it's always organized. So think of your display of how do I want it to represent myself, my business leaders and their companies, and Tupperware at the end of the day. Because when we go do these booths, people think we all look alike. It doesn't matter if you are a short black Adrian or you're Samantha who's tall and blonde. They think we all are the same people, right? So you need to make sure that when they think Tupperware, they think that represents all of us, so we need to represent each other in that way. I talked about your display always needs to be current colors and clean. Cover your product under your table. So like Pam shared with you, have your tablecloth long enough and even taped down so that your boxes underneath are covered. Nobody needs to see all that all over the place. And just make sure that they're long enough. And Pam and I can get some pretty nice tablecloths so we can help you guys work on that, or you can earn them, right? Always earning. We don't sit unless you have a health issue, and then you need to consider where you're you know, how long can you do a booth for that matter? We want everybody to be able to do them, but not to where you're sitting in the back corner and people are coming into your booth and you're like, hey, come on in. I mean, if you're sitting and maybe taking a bite, I bring snacks with me. I bring lots of water with me. But if somebody walks up and I happen to be looking down or whatever, I'm quick to jump up and, hey, how are you? Has it been a while since you've seen Tupperware? We're not sitting down in our chair, being a lump on a log, you know, doing that kind of business. Always professional. Think about where you're standing in the booth. So again, when it starts to become where there's a lot of people in there, step aside and let them come in. Because if you're standing right in front of your booth and you're not engaging in them, they're going to look around you and then they're going to walk out. Where you step aside and let them walk in, it's like, yes, please come into my booth and check out what I have to offer. Create small talk. Think about when you go do a booth, or excuse me, when you're shopping and somebody pounces you. You don't want to be the car salesman, right? That they're pouncing you, they're quick, and you're like, I'm out of here. You want to be the person, hey, are you finding what you're looking for? Granted, you only have so much time with somebody before they're distracted or want to move on to the next thing. So what can you do to make sure that you've got their attention, but you're not pouncing them, okay? And then you can bring a team member with you if you need to for help or observation if it's necessary, but your observers also need to be approved by your business leader and follow all the same rules, sign off on the contract, blah, 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 okay? Setup is always an hour or more prior, deemed by the event holder. So some events will require, I know when we do our big convention ones and Grand Sierra Casino ones, we're required often to do it the day before. So you need to prepare for those kind of things. So I'm not just talking farmers markets today, we're talking all booths, okay? So think about how soon do you need to get there, and if you're not a morning person, consider not doing farmers markets, because they are bright and early mornings and you get to be there. Usually we have, since the booth starts at 9, for example, here, we have to be there 7:30 or 8 because of parking and unloading and getting stuff out of the way. So, you know, think about that for yourself, just being completely honest here with you guys. Your attire, this is also important because you're representing not only yourself, your business leader, but Tupperware as well. Your attire is important. And it's, you know, like when you go to any kind of environment that they all wear the same outfit, so do we, okay? So unless there is a theme for the booth or the event that the event holder is holding, your attire is always black capris or long business shorts past your knees when you're sitting. So if they're too short when you're sitting, that's a problem. Or your apron at least needs to not be covering your shorts, if you will. We don't want people going to shift pants on, you know. So think about that. And it needs to be a nice Tupperware bling top or your white collared dressy shirt that's not dingy. And I say that because white shirts, after you wash them so many times, look like they've seen better days, right? And we've put our deodorant on, so now the armpits are gray and it looks kind of trashy. So we need to think about that. What are we wearing to our booth? And then put your appropriate apron over the top of it and wear your name tag. Jeans, hoodies, and other t-shirts are not permitted, period. Okay? If you're going to wear open-toed shoes, consider what you're wearing. I know there's people in the past that have said no flip-flops. I don't care if you wear flip-flops personally, because I do. But wear sandals. If you can't, you guys know I wear heels all the time. I can't do it in a booth. So consider, you know, you're often on cement or blacktop. Very rarely are we on grass and things like that. So you need to be comfortable, but you need to be professional. So you might find some cute, Pam has black Skechers that are really cute, but they look more like a business shoe versus a tennis shoe, okay? I know it sounds silly, but we are representing our company. Most importantly, we are representing our company more than anything. And with all due respect and love, if you're gonna wear open-toed shoes, make sure your toes look okay. Or don't paint them at all, right? I know it sounds silly, but in our business, we hold product all the time, do we not? And if you're sitting here displaying it and your hands look like you just tore them up, then you need to think about that. And how do you present yourself? It's all about presenting yourself, because when somebody walks into your booth, what's the first thing that they often see? They see you. They don't see all the product and everything else. And judgy women will judge you. That's just the way it is. So you need to be representing of your company. It's just what happened, right? Were you going to say something?
You know, I'm pulling up an email. You know, I'm Gail, one of my hosts, really good host daughters, is one of the directors of the Boys and Girls Clubs on 9th Street. So I've been doing a lot with them. And I was sitting there waiting for them to come in, and I was looking at the board, and I'm like, so I said, could you please send that to me? It talks about dressing for success and how you're supposed to be dressed. And she goes, we go over that with the job fairs and all this and that and this and that. And I thought, every time you are looking for a party, you're at a job fair.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
That's
I was
a
going to
great
print
point.
those up.
That's a
really
good point. You
great.
have to send me that.
Yeah, they're really great.
Okay, so here's all the rules. Lots of fun rules. I hate this part.
No one likes rules, but
No.
there's rules for a reason. I mean,
Yeah.
when my team looks at me like, why did you say that? Because it happened.
It happened.
There
You know,
would
it's
be
like
rules
when,
if it hasn't happened.
right? Exactly. And that's why they have to put small print on things, because somebody stuck a finger in a light socket, so they have to tell you
Someone
don't
poured
stick your
McDonald's
finger.
coffee on themselves
Poured
and
it,
it was
yeah.
hot.
Hello. Could be hot on the label. So rules. No matter what, all booths go through business leaders, period. It doesn't matter where you live, because at the end of the day, it's Pam's and my franchises, and our names are on the line. So if you are connected to us, they have to go through us. It's just Tupperware rule, okay? You must now, in order to work events, you have to have the booth insurance. That is through Hartford. It's $75 a year.
And they
I know
give
it's
us
under
many,
Yeah, they
75
give
a
you
year.
certificates. Every booth you work, they'll give you a
Like call or
certificate.
text them now and they do it.
Oh, it's so good. They give you all kinds of things. So we'll make sure that that is reposted for you
And
guys.
that's a write-off for you too.
So it's a write-off.
Absolutely.
And then, let me see. Then it'll give you, like I said, the certificates to show at the event to show you insurance. Most booths require insurance now, and we recently found out that our business insurance for this office doesn't cover you guys in the field. So you guys have to have those for the market, especially because those of you guys that live out of state, their rules are going to be different. So you need to have
And he
those.
said, when I was chatting with him, he said, and for their parties too. He said, if something were to happen
To
at
be
a
on the
party,
safe side, you might as well have it.
yeah.
So less than $100 for a whole year.
Yeah.
Pam and I pay well over $500-600 for the year. So
Yeah.
you guys are getting off light, right?
Now, does that insurance cover like thefts and stuff that happen there, or is it just like accidents and things that happen at your
I
business?
believe it's only accidents. I don't believe it's theft. I'm not 100% sure. I know as a manager and above, out of your paycheck every month, Tupperware takes $2, and that covers theft from your car and from not at a booth. So just from your car, it covered when I was in my car accident, they replaced all my product that was in my car. So because I was in the car and rolled the car. So there is different insurances when you move up in the plan. Another reason to step up to manager, just saying.
You pay that before you start working at any of the booths? Insurance.
Highly recommended,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Because I know we've already started them, but you
because
definitely
nothing's
need to
ever happened.
consider
But
it.
you know what? $75 for peace of mind for
Yeah.
a year that's priceless.
It's like, why do we pay car insurance? I'm not
No,
going to get a
yeah.
car in a car accident. I'm a great driver, and then you fall asleep at the wheel. Might have happened. So, okay, so let's see. You have to stay the whole time, even in ugly weather. So you sign up, you pay, and if you don't show up, you still pay. And if you cancel the last minute, you still pay. That's the policy. And that's the rules. It's not fair to the person you're working with. It's also not fair to the event coordinators, because that's what they do for a living. This is what these people live on. So we are committed. When we say we're going to be there, we are there, and we make sure that we do what we say we're going to do. Direct ship your orders wherever possible, please. Again, they think we're all the same person. So they'll come back and go, I ordered from you last week. And you're like, this is my first booth I've ever done. And they're saying they've insisted they've ordered from you, and you know they haven't. So we're just asking that everybody direct ship, unless you have a relationship with that person and you are committed to meeting them outside of the market. It's not one of those, I'll order from you and then I'll let you know next time I'm here and you can come pick it up. No. They need to make sure that they're getting their product. It is a little bit more expensive for them, but it's a whole lot less of a headache for everybody. And then, let's see, make sure you bring cash. I don't always, and it hasn't failed me, but there's been a couple times I needed it and wished I did. And then I got to run to the Starbucks or the closest place and try and break change. So if you can do that, you don't need it too often unless you're using it for cash and carry. And I suppose because I don't spend a lot of time focused on the cash and carry side of it, it hasn't been a burden to me, but just so you guys are aware of that.
I have had at the farmers markets quite a few people pay for orders with cash.
And that'll happen, sure.
I always do too.
Definitely happen.
Because they're at farmers market, all those farmer people, they usually only
They
take
have
cash.
to take cash, yeah. And then we don't share with other vendors in our space, period. So if you do another party line, you cannot have yourself and your other party line in the same booth ever. That's a Tupperware policy. And we don't share with our girlfriend because we're trying to save money. Also a Tupperware policy. We just don't do it. So make sure that you guys
Or
are
your
following
son
that.
is selling Girl Scout candies.
Yeah,
Whoever,
including
whatever.
fundraisers for your kids and your family and those things. It is strictly a Tupperware booth, period.
Yeah.
I say period a lot. Let's see, no children or family hanging out at the booth. It's not professional. You don't bring your kids to your JOB, so we don't bring them to our events. And trust me, that has been a problem for me in the past because I don't have anywhere else for them to go. And it ended up being that I had to cancel on it, and I still had to pay because I didn't have a choice. No pets. All of our farmers markets and booths here don't allow it. We had one event recently that was designed around dogs, but that would be the exception to the rule. They actually have signs posted, no pets. So just make sure you're aware of that from the beginning. Yeah.
It's sanitary. Although Max is very little.
Put it in your purse. No smoking, vaping, drugs, or alcohol. Again, bless you, one of those fine print things that we shouldn't have to say, but we have to say. There's signs, smoking, vaping, drugs, or alcohol. And vaping's been added because it's such a fad right now. So it shouldn't have to be said. There is signs posted, but because of situations, somebody did it, so now we have to say it, okay? No picnicking. So that means I put on here, snacks are okay, and always plan for lots of water because when it's super hot, man, I can go through 3 gallons of water and not go to the bathroom once because it's so flippin' hot.
Yes.
So you will get dehydrated.
And Tupperware bottles.
Yeah, bring your Tupperware water bottles.
We love our Starbucks ones, but not,
I know.
at
At
a
an event.
Tupperware.
You're like trying to demonstrate. I moved to this.
No, but I mean, you're not at a, booth, at a farmer's market booth, because that's like your advertising. It's like I used to bring my Longaberger business basket to my parties until it became a whole conversation about how I don't sell Longaberger.
Yeah.
I just use it as it was a
carry.
briefcase thing.
Yeah.
It was for all my papers. So then I had to stop carrying it.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing, We
Becomes
wanna show off ours.
advertisement.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're not advertising for other people. So why do I say no picnicking? We're not there to sit down and hover food in our face, because how many booths have you walked by in the past and people will be sitting there chowing down some food and you're like, are you going to talk to me? Or are you going to just like spit all that food out of your mouth while you're talking to me? I don't know. I was raised that way, so that's just how it is. No, one of the rules that was from the marketplace was no personal music boxes or devices unless approved by the market manager. They often have their own music going, so they don't want that to happen. No inappropriate behavior or language. Again, another thing that's common sense. Somebody's done it, so we need to say it. We talked about the towel. Also, think about for a towel, some of us get a little more sweaty than others, so you might need to dab your face a little bit. I know that sounds silly, but bring it for that reason, because again, being the perception of the booth. We don't do discount bins. We are required to sell at listed price of the catalogs and brochures. That's just a Tupperware policy. Parking.
On the sweaty, and some people you can't help it, you're sweaty.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you are never wearing the white shirt. Because it's hot and you don't want to wear a sweater, you need to get a black, I know it's black, but you're going to be under your canopy with the Tupperware bling or something, because it is not attractive when you're at a farmer's market booth and you're eating and you walk in and someone's just sweating, and it's like,
I don't want anything.
Yeah, so
you wouldn't buy food from somebody who was.
And gross. You can't help. I mean, if you're that kind of person, you cannot help it. But you just have to find ways to camouflage it.
Yeah. Yeah. So parking wherever the event or booth requires vendors to park, so think about that. And I would say whether you have a Tupperware vehicle or not, if your vehicle says Tupperware anywhere on it, maybe your license plate cover, you have a magnet, make sure your car is clean. If somebody comes to help you in and out of your car, or they see your car in the parking lot, I don't want them to see that my car is gross. Granted, we've been getting a lot of rain, and I'm trying to keep up with the car wash, and you're trying to find time. But, make sure your car doesn't look like you've lived in it for a month.
I mean, seen them like that.
Oh, Lord, yeah. You have to like clean off the front seat just for somebody to sit down. If I do that, it's because it's my date book in my purse, right?
Yeah, right.
Payment is for receiving payment is at your discretion based on items sold in person or by ordering. And what I mean by that is, like Jeanette just said, they're going to pay cash, they're going to pay check, they're going to pay card. I try to at markets really avoid checks very much because it might be the last time you ever see that person, or it's a scam. And unfortunately, we see that happening more often than not anymore. So I really try to get them to use a card or pay in cash. So I might carry a That's-able full of tiny treasures that when you place your order today using cash or card, you get to pick a prize. When you spend $50 from here or here, you get to pick a prize. Things like that. Now, we don't sell our tiny treasures. We don't sell keychains. We don't sell magnets. Or we don't sell citrus pillars. All of our gadgets we do not sell. They are build your business materials. So think about how can you use them. They're extremely discounted for us to use for that purpose. Also on payment, I would recommend that you guys have a PayPal. I was not going to use PayPal. I swore I wasn't going to use PayPal. I've been using it for over a year and a half now. I love PayPal, as most of you guys have learned. It's so easy. And it's also an easy format for people to actually pay their orders if they choose to, because a lot of people use PayPal
I
now.
just had a gal who she didn't have money. She didn't have. She said, "Can you come by?" And I said, "No, I can't." And I said, "You can come by the office and I'll be there from some to some." I said, "Do you have PayPal?" "Yes." And I got my little email. She paid for her Tupperware order.
Yeah, it's so much
She didn't
easier
have a debit
sometimes,
card.
right? And people who don't want to use their credit card and give you their number, it's an easy way to do that.
I did have a vendor event that I did that I paid by check. And a lot of them had paid by cash or PayPal. If the event for any reason does not go through and they cancel it and they're supposed to reimburse your money and you have PayPal, you can dispute it with PayPal.
Yeah.
I have to go through the sheriff's department now because it's been since March when she cashed the check, and it's actually fraud. It's going to fraud now. There's seven women that are all filing fraud charges on this lady for the event because she canceled it and she's not reimbursing them.
Yeah, so PayPal gives you another insurance policy, if you will, which is, really handy. When you're doing your orders, that's your discretion. I also use Square because it's there for those that do want to do Square. They can slide it and be done with it. So that's an option for you guys.
A little swiping thing too.
I do have PayPal Swiper too.
And they give you a
yes, swiping. What?
They give you a credit card to use also.
Yeah, I have that too. So at the end of the day, all of this to say is to be prepared. Look professional, have your stuff, get ready the night before. A lot of times you think, oh, I'll do it in the morning, and the booth starts at 9 and you're supposed to leave by 7 and the alarm doesn't go off. How many of us have had that happen? I have had that happen more than once. So if you know that's your personality, be ready the night before. Stamp your catalog, stamp your brochures. If you're doing a lot of booths this summer, order case catalogs now. Order 5, 6, 7 sets of brochures because you're going to be handing them out. Know that they're going to get thrown away. People go, do you have a catalog? And you're like, yes. And then you see it later and you're like, seriously? It's going to happen. So be prepared. Order a stamper or do labels. Handwriting your name multiple times is exhausting. So it looks more professional when you have the stamp or the labels. Remember that you're representing all of us. You're representing Tupperware first and foremost. You're representing the business leader companies all over the country, and you're representing yourself. So be professional. Please act accordingly. And then one tip that was shared with me today that I thought was extremely helpful was to go with an open mind. Because a lot of us go with intention at these booths. So I'm going to date all these people, I'm going to recruit all these people, and I'm going to sell this whole box of cash and carry, and it's going to be an awesome day. And you leave, you've sold nothing, you've dated nothing, you've recruited nobody, and you gave her out an entire case of catalogs and brochures. Now, it's super hypothetical, right? But some of us have done and given away a lot of stuff and got nothing out of that booth, and we're very disappointed. Booths are to meet and greet people, to date and recruit. They are not about, I'm going to sell a bunch of stuff, or I'm going in with a guarantee. But if you go in with a positive mindset that everybody that walks in your booth is somehow going to participate in your business, then it will be successful. And if nothing else, at the end of the day, it'll be a lesson learned. What could I have done better? What can I do with this? How can I build my business in another way? How much water do I need to bring next time to be prepared? Because sometimes you learn that while you're there. I mean, it's silly, but that happens. Booths are not the foundation of our business. Parties are. Go in thinking that you will get parties and recruits, but know that not all booths are great and can be just that, of a learning experience. That can happen. So some other rules and tips for you guys. There is the whole document of the vendor and trade show policy. So I am going to read this because we have people watching. So bear with me here. Trade show and vendor events can be utilized to support the core of your business. This is the one, oh, maybe I should get the newer one. Sorry, it says January 2017 on the bottom left corner, okay? Tupperware vendor events can be utilized to support the core of your business, the Tupperware party. They can also help raise brand awareness. Do you want to read this?
Sure.
Okay. You gotta stand in front of the
I'll stand in front of the camera and I will read. By following these guidelines, you're maximizing your success by fueling the core of your party business with host and recruit leads and are being a good brand steward. Important. I had someone tell me that once at a party. You're a very good steward of Tupperware. And I was like, well, thank you. And I was like, what are you talking about? My name is not steward. Acceptable trade shows, vendor events are defined as annual events such as home shows, women's shows, craft expos, etc., which take place in a location not typically used for retail purposes, such as a convention center. Bazaars and fairs that are not related to retail establishments, such as those held for community event organization or a cause, are also eligible as long as they are not being held in a retail environment, such as a mall or a retail plaza. And I know sometimes we have things going on in that, what's that mall called that has a Burlington Coat Factory? Old Town. So you guys, we can't do the Old Town stuff because that is a mall. Events at a mall or retail plaza are only eligible if they are sponsored by an outside vendor, such as a bridal show, women's show, community, etc. The purpose of these events must be dating and recruiting, product demonstration, and selling of product to cover costs of the participation of the event. Who is eligible? Participation in trade shows, vendor events is limited to Salesforce members with an active status at the time of the event. Salesforce members must get their business leaders' approval prior to registering for the event. For large events, venues such as women's shows, bridal shows, home and garden shows, etc., held at convention centers, fairgrounds, and in any event held in a mall. For sure held in a mall. That's one super important. General operating rules. Events are first come, first serve. Your regional must approve events in areas where there are multiple business leaders wanting to attend the same event. Luckily, we work very well together, so we don't have to go through nary that. But that's, for other places, I'm sure it's not the same. Yeah. Expectation that the Salesforce member will be at this location with any degree of frequency is also considered a retail establishment. Examples include selling at a booth, kiosk, or other location for one or more days per week or month, week after week, or month after month. Participating in a marketplace one day or more a month every month. Events where the sponsor conducts the event more than 4 times per year. Vendor events sponsored by the same organization over consecutive days or weeks in a multiple location if the Salesforce member participates in a consistent or regular basis. As a reminder, you are also not permitted to sell Tupperware products on websites other than your personal my.tupperware website. Please be sure to refer to the social media policy on your Salesforce website under policies. Contact us for more information on marketing yourself online. Very important that it's not seen as a storefront, that's why. So if you're at the same place every week, that is a storefront. We're not allowed to have a storefront. So it's really important that we mind our P's and Q's because we push the limits a little bit with the farmers markets as it is. But we have different people working them all the time, which is how we get to bypass that. So we want to make sure that we are very careful and we don't abuse that or it will be taken away. But no, we're not good.
Is that all of them?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Oh.
Is there more?
I don't know. Yeah, there's a page.
I have this.
The back side of this?
Oh, from that to that. So sorry.
I think there's a whole section.
Well, I saw this and this. I'm like, oh, there you go. Oh, sorry. Backtrack. Failure to comply with the terms and conditions of these guidelines may result in the participating Salesforce member's account being closed. These guidelines can change at any time. So you always want to be up to date. That's why it's so important you guys contact us and let us know, because once your account is closed by Tupperware, it's almost impossible for us to reopen it.
I don't think we can.
Even if it's like an honest mistake. It's not an honest mistake if we have said you need to contact us and you don't. That's not an honest mistake. So help us to help you. Guidelines. Your primary focus at a trade show or vendor event should be dating future home parties and sharing the opportunity. Demonstrating products is a great way to show people what's new with Tupperware. So that goes to show you right there, if you are not an in-home party person, you're not going to be working an event. That doesn't have to be your primary focus, but you have to be trained and willing to do in-home parties, because that's the point of it. Dating gifts and sales aids are tools for you to use at your parties and to grow your business. These tools are not available for purchase by customers and should not be offered for sale. I used to have people, when we had the kiosk at the mall, ask if they could buy citrus peelers and stuff. And if I had them, I just gave them. I had one customer, I mailed one to
I remember that.
yeah, I mailed one to another state, Colorado. And she's like, you're going to mail it to me? Because I just can't, I can't sell it. And I didn't have one. So I paid the postage and everything because, you know, like we teach in Star Trek, do you do the right thing even when no one's watching? You know, I could have put a self-dress envelope and had her send me some money, but I didn't. Though the event may span more time, your booth may operate for a maximum of 4 days. Business leaders may request an extension past the 4 days for larger events through the business leader executive support team. Email them with your request at blah, blah, blah. Printed images, materials, and signage must be provided by the home office through the Salesforce website, earned as a Salesforce award, and are purchased through the Vistaprint page, which is what Samantha was talking about. You may not sell or represent any other products at your Tupperware booth, which is what Samantha was talking about. Shared vendors. You can't be you and some makeup or some kind of clothing, or your kid selling Girl Scout cookies. It just can't be done. And you know what? When you do it, it's a social media world. We will find out. I mean, and people aren't even doing it maliciously. They're just like, they get excited to see the Tupperware booth. Look, I saw a Tupperware booth at the market, and they post it, and we're like, what is that with the Tupperware booth? So
the markets have people that go through and take pictures periodically.
Yes, and they post them in magazines.
I'll be honest with you guys. Don't think Pam and I haven't secretly gone to booths. It was done to us, and it's just part of what it is.
Booths have mysterious shoppers, just like grocery stores.
Yeah, you just never know. You never know.
Yeah.
As you have seen in the consultant agreement, sale of Tupperware products at retail establishments, flea market, swap meets is not permitted. A retail establishment is any commercial setting such as a store, shopping mall, kiosk, beauty salon, movie theater, etc. The intent of a vendor event is for recruiting, dating, and product demonstrations for the purpose of dating future parties. Sales at a trade show, vendor event are only to cover the cost of participating in the event. Any location or series of locations where the sales force adheres to a regular schedule is considered a retail establishment. If the sales force members' customers have an expectation that the Salesforce member will be at that location with any degree of frequency is considered a retail establishment. Examples include, we went over that. So you guys, they can't be like, she's at the farmer's market every week. It can't be the same person at the farmer's market every week. Because once again, there are other people in this area. There are 2 directors who live in our area that are connected to other business leaders.
We just found out last week.
Yeah, and they will see that. And if they want to get in on this and they can't, they'll be like, well, I saw, and they'll come in and talk to you. Oh, Samantha. Oh, well, I talked to Samantha 3 weeks in a row. What's that about? How come I can't work that booth? So we have to make sure that and I'm serendipity, I'm really talking to you, we need people working them. There's only so many people that work these booths. And the farmers markets people really want us there, and we want to be there, but it can't be the same people all the time because we could get in trouble, especially with so many people now in our area. It makes me nervous. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yay. Okay, so then the last one we have, and we're going to wrap this up quickly, is a sheet for you guys. Where did I put it? Successful vendor events. So questions to determine if the event is fit for you. What is the cost versus number of hours of the event? With Divine and Serendipity in the same area, if it's an event more than 2 days, we share and a story. If it's an event that is uber expensive, we share and a story, no matter on the length of the time.
Yeah, like a women's expo or something, a big thing.
And Pam and I run all that stuff. Setup time, we talked about indoors or outdoors. Think about that, what you can have in there. You can have a lot more indoors because it's not so windy, right? Are tables and chairs provided? Do I bring my own? Do I allow more than the Tupperware vendor? No. Yeah, and so there's a lot of questions for you. How will it be publicized? Know that you guys can only publicize via social media and by word of mouth and handing out flyers. We physically are not allowed to put in newspapers, magazines, do commercials, radio. We can't do any of that. That all, including what we do as business leaders, has to be permitted through Tupperware. That's a policy.
Now, are the event coordinators, are they allowed to do that type of stuff?
If they're paying for it and they're doing it and Tupperware's going to be here also, yes, they can do it. Okay. But us personally, we can't. Now, I mean, I was interviewed by Channel 8 at the Pink booth one year right after I had my cancer, and they were doing a cancer booth, and they just came over and interviewed me. There's not a lot you can do about that kind of stuff when it's instant. But they were advertising the booth, so to your point, it was something the event was doing. It wasn't something that I'm like, hey, come down and interview me. I mean, I just didn't do that. So you have to be careful with that kind of stuff. Good question. What's anticipated traffic? Again, that's more for your own knowledge. How many books and supplies am I going to need? And what's my targeted market? When we had the booth a couple weeks ago on pets, the market is people with pets. So do I have stuff to accommodate families, really? You know, and not necessarily. I mean, you know, all walks of life have pets. So
lots of single. Do you have what? And then you just think about what. And if you don't have a pet, then you have somebody who has pets. Because I keep my dog food and cat food in modular containers. Mm-hmm. They drink out of little Tupperware bowls because they don't get slimy. I mean, I use tons of Tupperware with my animals.
Yeah, really good thought. So just think about your audience. And I mean, it's just like your parties. You think about your audience and how am I presenting? What am I cooking? Before the event, order and label plenty of your supplies. Bring signs and order Vistaprint. Prepare a That's-able with the tiny treasures like I talked about. Have a small say yes on the spot. Schedule 2 to 3 phone sessions that you can follow up. Follow-up is so key at events, always, because when you don't follow up with somebody and they've given you their information to say, yes, I want to date a party, and then you don't, they're like, yeah, I knew she wasn't going to call. Because that's what they're used to. People don't follow up with them. So schedule time to follow up and prepare your party planning packets and recruit packets because that's your focus of being there. At the event, be professional, wear your name tag, smile, stand, make eye contact, step back and give them space to look around, point out new items and share quick tips, ask about their needs, offer to hold things for them as they look. If they're holding big bags of farmer's market product, hey, can I hold that for you or put it here in my chair? And they're like, no, it's your chair. It's not for me to sit. Let me put your stuff there. I mean, make a point of that. And invite them to fill out your lead slip or lead generation forms and register them for your mailing list. It's a great opportunity to get people on your digital email every month, right? If you're doing the thank you, I just drew a blank. Tupper Trends. There's a ton of word choices, a page and a half to, golly, almost 2 full pages for you guys of word choices of how to meet and greet and talk to people and things like that. A couple quick more tips that Pam and I will share with you, and I saw one that she has for you guys that was brought to me. The biggest thing after your setup is be relaxed. You know, we get in this hurry to get it all put up and we're like, and half the time we're breathing heavy because we're hurrying. Take a deep breath, relax, look like you're excited to be there, even if you're not, because sometimes we don't want to get up in the morning. You're like, dang it, I have a booth tomorrow. Trust me, we get it, but you have a booth tomorrow, so be ready for it. Engage and don't be pushy. Say hi or good morning or whatever to everyone as they're going by. Say you're welcome to those. You're welcome to come in and take a look. And the word choice given to me was, and she adds, I don't bite. I mean, I've said that before because they seem intimidated to come in. Come on in, I don't bite. You know, have fun with them. Be careful. We all have different personalities. So when you're super soft, you got to get out of your zone a little bit and out of your box. When you're jumpy and you're a big eye like some of us, you need to tone it down, bring it back a notch. If you're an aggressive person, it's time to be nice. And our C's, things don't have to be perfect. It's okay, I promise. Kind of. Then explaining quick table setup so you can be ready, and also that it doesn't take you so long to break down. Make your job easy for yourself. Always, when you're sharing with them the table, share with them the host gift special and the game that you might be playing. For example, you might have a jewelry tree that you're dangling keychains on that are date and recruit type things in there. You might have a bowl that is the Cerveliers, because they're the host gift special right now, and the biggest one is full of keychains and magnets, and they're like, oh, I want them. I mean, how many people will go, I want that, when they step up to your booth? Well, you only get that when you date or sign up today. And actually, Jeanette, when you sign up today, I have a bonus gift for you. And you might have a say yes offer for them on the spot. And know that Pam and I support you, that if they sign up over the weekend and they come Monday, they're still going to get their modular prize from us, okay? Because we want you guys getting recruits now and then bringing guests with them at Rally, right? And so if you're going, wait till Monday to sign up, no, let's get them in, get them done right away, right? Because when they wait, they go away. And then lastly, you share the cash and carry table. And if you're interested, I have some stuff you can take home today. I used to say that's discounted. I can't say that anymore. So find word choice that is easy, roll off your tongue for you. And the game idea that was shared with me is the basket. I would use a bowl of keychains or magnets to entice them to date parties. And they get to take it with them. The other option that you can do is a prize wheel, a small one. You can go on Amazon and find them. So because that draws attention, especially for kids, if they're walking by, they're like, Mom, I want to spin the wheel. So they come over, and we did this at Divas, and it worked like a charm. And the only thing on that wheel was data recruit, data recruit. That was it. Not buy this much and you get a prize. We didn't do that because the idea is to date parties at that event, not to buy product. If they buy product, that is a bonus for you. And if you're doing your job right, they'll do both, honestly. And if ultimately they don't sign up or they don't date a party, they're going to buy from you because you were professional. Make sure you have your business cards with you and have your picture on that. It makes such an impression, especially because we all are the same person at events, right? So if they have your picture, that is your statement. That's what they're leaving with. So be professional. Here's my business card. Because some people don't want a catalog, but they'll take your business card. And have invites for the next event. I didn't write any of that on our notes, but it's popping in my mind. Have invites for them to come to the next event. You know, come join me. If you, oh, I can't come this week. That's okay, come next week. Come whenever it suits you. Here's, you know, a fake Tupperware $100 bill. Put this in your wallet, and the next time you're thinking you'd like to make some extra money and you see this in your wallet and you don't have the money you need to pay for whatever it is, you'll remember me, and I'd love to show you how you can make extra money. You can do that at a party or a booth. It won't hurt you, right? Pam, I saw you price patrol. You want to explain that, and then we'll wrap it up if you guys have any questions.
I always do price patrol because that's what I like, and it works for me. And I just have I have like 30 citrus peelers or straws, and then I have 15 past dating gifts, and then I have 5 bigger pieces of Tupperware, and they're sitting out. And then I have a piece of Tupperware, and it has the numbers. What's 30 and 15 and 5? 40, 45, whatever that is. I have that many numbers, and I have 30 of the ones. I have whatever the 2s, whatever 5 of the. It's easier when I have it written down.
I know.
I can't think of how many I have. So let's just say 20, 10, and 5. I have 20 1s, 10 2s, and 5 3s. 1, 2, 3. And I just say, do you want to play prize patrol? And they look at me and I go, all you do is you fill this out, and I have my clipboard with my little customer care form. And I say, you just fill this out, and then you get to take a piece of paper out of here, and it's going to have a 1, 2, or 3. If you get a 1, you get a citrus peeler or a straw. If you get a 2, you get one of these, and I tell what they are. And if you get a 3, you get one of those. And they're like, okay. But they don't get to play that game until they've filled out my form. And then I hold it up, and then whatever they take out, I put in my pocket so they don't keep picking 3s and I don't have any more of the bigger items. So then if I'm really at a big place or I'm there all day or whatever, I'll have a whole nother batch underneath. But it's very inexpensive. Citrus peeler, straws, past dating gifts, and the bigger ticket items I do make like 15, 20 bucks because I make it something where I want a chance at that. You know, like over at the Season Serves right now. So whether it's not that costly, the junior one, but it's something exclusive, or something purple or whatever, but people love price patrol, and it's super easy.
Yeah.
And inexpensive.
Inexpensive. So I want to share this with you because this one just came in my mail today. When you guys work a booth for Farmers Market here, Chris will mail these to us, and it's the receipt for you guys, and we'll bring these for you next time, and you always pay when you get there as far as our Farmers Market. So is there any other questions, comments, concern, cry of relief, anything that is on your feed? Maybe you have a question? Anybody that want to unmute and you might have a question? Yes, Miss Casey?
I have a question. So I did a vendor event right before Christmas, and I had these 3 kids that kept, and they were like,
that you want to punch in the face?
Well, they weren't bad, but they wouldn't stop hanging around my booth and stuff because I had candy there. So they kept eating the candy. What do I do? Because I did find out later on that the kids, because I was like, where are these kids' parents? Yeah. And here it was the lady that did the vendor event, you know, that set it up. It was her kids.
So a couple things that trigger. I don't recommend that you have snacks for people.
I've noticed that.
Here for us, we actually cannot. It's against policy. It's a Nevada state law. We can't have food out unless you have a license for anything. Oh. So I wouldn't have candy out because you are going to bring in the kids. But if you have kids, because I love children mostly, but when you have kids that are a pain in the rear, that's the time. It's okay to say, you know what? I need you guys to not hang around anymore because this is for the parents, or something that's comfortable. Basically, it's okay to say go away with a smile. It's okay to say that.
Okay. And also, are you allowed to sell like the older products, like if it's a cash and carry, like you can sell those?
Yes, we don't sell tiny treasures, keychains, magnets, whistle straws, citrus peelers, or dating gifts. Those are the things we cannot sell. I think I got all of them. But you can sell old samples. That is a great way to get rid of them and get your new stuff. Great way to get rid of it. You just have to sell it at the marketed price in the brochure.
Okay.
Now, like I had the bowl set, the red one from Christmas time that is actually in our flyer right now for the barbecue, have it all set. We cannot sell the old ones if the current one in the flyer is the same type of product, only a different color or something, correct?
You can. If it's a different color, you can. So our current one is a purpley color. The other one was red, so it's an old color, so yes. Oh, okay. It's like not selling a chip and dip bowl because it's a different color. Yes, you can. Okay. As long as it's not, you can sell current on your display if you have it. You just have to sell it at current price. Right. That's just the rule. Okay, any other questions online? Good to go? Anybody else here? Everybody's good? Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. Stay on if you're staying for the next class. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. I have to close this to come back, okay?
Is there any way that when you